Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to the Toronto Raptors 113-102 win against the Orlando Magic. Riker, the Orlando Magic, they're a team we're competing with, I guess, in the tanking scene, and for some people we're competing with, I think they're done for in terms of their playoff hopes, but the Raptors, with so many people out, with injuries and rest and whatnot, they still got this W on the backs of heroic performances from Paul Watson and Yuta Watanabe. But what are your takeaways from this game, Riker?
Ben, Shakespeare, Hamlet, to be or not to be, to tank or not to tank, Ben. That's the pressing question right now. Paul Watson, he's obviously doing his best not to tank, dropping a 30p. Yuta Watanabe, he's going out there, 21 clean points, might I add. He looked pretty nice tonight. It's not a great team, this Orlando Magic team. They're not great. They have some young guys, RJ Hampton, Gary Harris, who else? Wendell Carter Jr. They have Terrence Ross. I don't like them, but they have a decent enough team, but this is not a good Eastern Conference team. So these wins, they're a little bit rough unless you want to make the play-in. To tank or not to tank, Ben? What are you thinking?
Well, Riker, I had to make a little graphic for us here. Are you guys, and we'll look at the chat, we'll talk about this, we'll lean to the side, are you team tank or team playoffs? Throwing it back to Twilight a little bit, but clearly tonight, and we'll dive into, I'll pull this graphic a lot up in this podcast, but clearly tonight, Paul Watson Jr., this guy is clearly on team playoffs because the Raptors, they seem to bench everybody. Lowry, Gary Trent Jr., everyone was resting, and Paul Watson came out and said, you know what? It's my time to shine. I'm going to hit 8 threes, 30 points, a career high, 4 rebounds, and there was a stretch, Riker, in that third quarter where he was on fire. He was looking like Steph Curry. I saw in the chat early on, and people were saying, he's looking like Tracy McGrady. People were messaging on IG saying, he's looking like Steph Curry. Paul Watson, we saw this in the bubble. I was amped about him coming into the season, and then obviously didn't get that much of an opportunity at the start of the year with so many guards in the way. Didn't even get that much run when everyone was out with health and safety protocols. Got a couple games here and there, but still, Terrence Davis, Matt Thomas got a lot of those opportunities. Really started to play well, and then he went out with health and safety protocols, and he picked right back up from where he left off. I don't know, Paul Watson, I've been very encouraged with everything I've seen from him when he's gotten sort of a few games to feel everything out. He's a good shooter, he can drive, he's athletic, he's a solid defender. Could this guy be a potential rotation piece in the future?
Pump the brakes. Relax. Douse some ice over your face. Steph Curry comparisons? Come on, guys. Tracy, this was our deep bench guy. Deep bench, we had Lowry, Gary Trent Jr., Pascal Siakam, OG, everybody and their mother was resting this game, and Paul Watson gets 25 minutes. Pump the brakes that he could be a rotation player. That's way too much pressure to put onto this guy, but he had himself a night, Ben, and everybody has the ability to have themselves a night. If you'll remember, at the beginning of the season, first 15, 20 games, Chris Boucher, we said he's looking like Steph Curry, Rudy Gobert out there, better three-point percentage, more blocks per game than those respective two. Now, obviously, he's a far cry from that now as his statistical averages have balanced out. But Paul Watson, again, it's one of those fun ones. Like, typically when the Raptors win, there's a notable thing that happens that doesn't typically happen. It's just, was it worth it? Was it really worth it to win this one when you know the quality of the team that are the Orlando Magic? Right?
Well,
they need to come out and win against a good team.
Well, Niche Seth, go in the super chat. We got a couple super chats here. Someone forgot to tell Paul and Yuta that the Raps are looking to tank, and that's right. The people are divided right now. Team tank, team playoffs, and we don't know what's really going to happen right going forward with this roster, but with this team. But again, we can't dive too deep into an Orlando Magic win saying that we've turned it all around, but it's encouraging to see guys, right, play well and get their flow going. And I've been very high on Paul Watson. I thought he should have got opportunity right from the jump of the season. Malachi, obviously, then they got little spurt minutes, didn't play that well in that time. You're laughing at something there, Riker.
No, I'm laughing at you saying we shouldn't get too high on a Orlando Magic win, but You're right.
Yeah, no, it is what it is. But it's cool to see the players really shine when they're given opportunity. And Peasant Plays back with another super chat as well, saying there was a confirmed sniper in Tampa, and that is correct. He was identified as professional basketball player Paul Watson Jr. And
Ben, that was all caps. You need to go up with your
Paul Watson Jr. You know, this man, 8 threes, Riker. It's crazy the league right now, all the guys that can just come off the bench and just snipe these shots down. Because 8 threes, even 5 years ago, that's something we'd be looking at only the likes of Klay Thompson, Steph Curry doing. And now Paul Watson's putting his name in there along with the rest of the three-point shooters in the league that are balling out. But I don't know, man. I think he might be sleeping on Paul Watson. I was high on him at the start of the year. He started to show out a little bit. I think he needs a little bit more run.
Well, let me use this as a segue to say early, if you think Paul Watson deserves more run, I suspect he's going to get more run down the stretch. Actually, I don't even want to say I suspect. Nick Nurse might start putting out his best lineups now next game, thinking that we're going to make a push for the playoffs. I don't know what the goal is. You would have thought that benching majority of the starters, they were expecting to lose, trying to lose, whatever, but you can't stop it when a guy shoots 8 for 11 from 3. So if you want to see more of this man, more of Yuta looking like a solid NBA player, like Spike. Get
the like spike, hit the likes. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We're on the road to 20k subscribers. Gotta get that the little thing filmed whenever we can get inside a gym. Danny, if you're watching this, we want that gym time. But you know, the Raptors, you brought it up. Paul Watson was great, but Yuta Watanabe, we alluded to him earlier, but this guy, he's been coming off the bench even with the depleted team. 21 points, 7-11 from the field, 7-11, nice. 6 rebounds, 2 assists. You know, Yuta looked confident. We've been saying it the past few games. He's driving the rim. He's doing the right things. Yuta's another guy, man. He's been bringing the energy. He's had up and down season, but another guy that's looking like he's trying to fight for more minutes and more time down the stretch of the season.
Yep. I liked him. Again, his length, his size, it is an asset. And his sort of high-tier floater, kind of leaners, bank shots, he was hitting some, I don't know what you want to call them. They're kind of fadeaways, but kind of runners at the same time, however that works out. So I would call them, what would you call them, Ben? You do more floaters in game than I do.
Little teardrops.
Yeah, teardrops. We'll call it that.
Yeah,
we'll call
floater,
it a teardrop.
You always gotta scream floater alert when those go up. So shout out Chris Smooth. But we had another super chat from Riv2K saying Malachi Flynn or Peyton Pritchard. Riker, I'll throw that to you. Malachi Flynn or Peyton Pritchard?
Peyton Pritchard, sample size being playing against the Toronto Raptors, you'd have to pick him, but I don't watch the Boston Celtics because they are an infuriating franchise as a Raptors fan. And so I don't know what he does. He probably has the most average stats known to man and just is one of those guys that comes alive when he sees the purple, the red, the white, the black, whatever color I guess the Raptors were running when they play against the Boston Celtics. So yeah, Malachi Flynn, again, he's been better. He's been a lot better. He's been much improved.
Yeah, and his shot, once again tonight, wasn't that great in terms of efficiency. Went 3 of 12 from the field, 6 points, but 8 assists for Malachi Flynn, and that's what he does. He does a really good job at creating for other people. Now with Kemp Birch, other bigs in the lineup. Obviously, Siakam was out tonight, and OG, who is technically one of our bigger guys, wasn't playing, but just Boucher, Freddie, and Kemp Birch, they've been really nice players to throw those roll passes to, and it's been really helping out this team. Obviously, we haven't played. I guess the Spurs are solid. They've been on a downward trajectory, but the Magic have been on a big downward trajectory, but they have had a couple of nice wins, so we can't get too carried away. But with the bigs, the Raptors team looks normal. We don't have those blatant holes we've had for most of this year. Right, and people are calling, and I'm peeping the chat as we're talking. People want to see more Baines, because most people, Riker, it seems, are on Team Tank. They're rocking Team Tank still to this point. So we'll keeping those debate going. But if the Raptors continue, yep.
Do you want to finish your thought?
No, if the Raptors continue to play like this, they got to get wins against real teams before you're going to sway both of us to team playoffs.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You might as well try at this point to beat a team. You might as well try to beat Brooklyn, or you might as well try to beat Denver. And speaking of Denver, Jamal Murray, ACL. Hopefully he recovers speedily from that. You obviously have had your own ACL, MCL issues in the past. Speaking of big man and the Spurs on a downward trajectory, obviously in the buyout market, LaMarcus Aldridge went over to the Brooklyn Nets as well, whom I mentioned, and then had heart murmurs or regular heartbeats, decided to retire from the NBA. I think that Chris Bosh, didn't he have issues with his heart? I know it was blood clots, but I thought that I guess it can affect the heart too. And then just last night or tonight, maybe, I think it was tonight, did you hear Donovan Mitchell now has gone down with an ankle injury? I don't know how severe it is, but I think that this condensed season is maybe a factor, and obviously so many back-to-back games. So there's a lot of injuries around the league. So I'm just hoping that everybody sort of recovers quickly, and those who aren't injured, they stay out of it. But Ben, the point on the centers, the Raptors, they don't have the glaring hole anymore. They can play defense. They can get interior rebounding. They can finish with touch in the lane. So we benched our tank commander. People were trying to get us to believe we've cut our tank commander, Aaron Baines.
They were pranking us. The fake news.
They were joshing us, pulling our strings. But, if he keeps benching, or keeps being on the bench, keeps not playing any minutes, you'd have to believe that the Raptors are in a better position to win. And maybe they're trying to make the playoffs, Ben. I don't know. I'm so stressed.
Rip Barber Baines, rip the Baines fan club, because they've turned heel on the Toronto Raptors. We'll dive into that because, Riker, as you were talking, we had 3 super chats. Firstly, from Arco. I'm really happy with the Raptors, Dev from the G League. Again, the Raptors are always doing this, even in a shortened season with the bubble G League. They had a little opportunity to go down there, get some run. Obviously, the Raptors development staff, whether on the 905 or they're with the main team, it's always a positive thing to see. And Derek McCurdy, another legend in the Super Chat, team playoffs. The young core are motivated and it'll accelerate our rebuild to get that playoff experience in. And I'm cool with it. I agree, Derek. If we, I'll jump to team playoffs if we start beating good teams, right? We need to be able to beat the good teams right now. But if we're beating the Magic and we continue to beat the Spurs and the likes of those teams, then we're not going to be playoffs because we have a really tough schedule down the stretch. We're going to be...
Those are the teams you should have beat the first half of the season. Right?
Exactly, right? These are, even during when we were in health and safety protocols, and we still had games we should have won, right? But if we beat those teams and then we lose to, as you brought up, the Nuggets, the Nets, and these squads, then we're just going to get the 11th seed or maybe the 10th seed and have a bad play-in tournament game. I'm still on Team Tank, but I see where people are coming from. And the next super
Let me say this before you say it. And I also, this is another reason why I'd be willing to jump to team playoffs, is that this is basically our bench and deep bench that played this entire game, right? So they're getting the experience now. What happened in the regular before, first half of the season? The Raptors starting unit was all right. Then you put out the Stanley Johnsons and the Bembries and the guys that are coming off the bench from the basically 7, because we're fine with Boucher as the 6, the 7 to 10 spot. They were useless. They were duds out there. They were barely scoring. We were getting outscored by large quantities now. So if our bench guys are getting confidence now in these types of games, you'd have to think that could translate a little bit better, at least the confidence aspect of things, into the playoffs, if it comes to that. And Ben, I just want to say on the schedule, one more game against the optimized tanking team, OKC Thunder, and then the Brooklyn Nets, and then the New York Knicks again. So 2 playoff teams. Yeah,
it's gonna be really interesting. And we sort of said 2 weeks ago was when we should have decided where we want to go all out with it. And the Raptors have been a mixed bag over the past couple of weeks, so we'll see what occurs. But Nisha Seth, someone said I keep butchering the name. I made a segment for us, Riker, when we butcher names. Nisha?
No.
Nisha. It's something, but we have a little
Surely
segment. Nisha Seth. Anyways, we really appreciate you. Let us know if we keep butchering it. But the Celtics signed Jabari Parker. Definitely a weird signing because I feel like that's the last thing, Jabari Parker, that the Celtics need. An undersized big that is a chucker and doesn't play defense. What are your thoughts on that? Because they might be a potential play-in opponent if we do make that 10th or 11th seed or whatever.
Yeah, they're trying to figure. I thought that they were gonna explode onto the scene with Fournier, but he had a bit of a slow start. I think he didn't play last game for them. I don't know if he's injured or health and safety. I agree, it is a weird signing for sure. I don't know what he offers to the team that they were missing in the first place, but
yeah, exactly. I don't know. He was a guy that if he was healthy in his career, him and Andrew Wiggins were supposed to dominate the East and West for years to come. The mellow LeBron of that 2014 draft. I believe it was 2014, but surely didn't happen. Injuries were a big part of it with Jabari Parker. It's unfortunate. But we talked about Malachi. We talked about Paul. Phenomenal games. But and Yuta, obviously. Stanley Johnson Knight had 3 threes off the bench. He looked motivated. He looked fast out there as well. Was running down the lane. Did have a couple of turnovers or... Well, how many turnovers? Yeah, 3 turnovers for him. A couple of them were just really chaotic. But I thought he had one of his better games this season. Freddie Gillespie, we got to figure out again.
Gillespie, because
I know a bunch of Gillespies from Newfoundland. I don't know if that's like a Newfoundland name, but Matt Devlin keeps saying Gillespie. So
really,
yeah,
like Gillette.
Yeah, like Gillette, I guess. But
play the segment again, Ben.
It's a quick segment. I keep playing it. Charles Barkley coming up, but it is what it is. I think he's been really solid. Did you catch his post-game interview, I believe, in the last game?
No.
He just seems like a cool guy. Was really animated, was fooling around on the video, told some cool stories about his family, his mom being an activist. Just seems like a Raptors guy, a culture guy. So I'd like to see Gillespie around. I hope it's Gillespie around till the rest of the season. Hustler, rebounder, really is a guy that we could have used throughout this entire year, but still a little bit raw, but a guy we could develop, only 23 years old.
Yeah, Dylan Jaws Cow. Dylan Joe's Cow. Nothing makes me cringe like Stanley turning the ball over. That's a fact. That is the most, because you know it's coming, and he just does them in the worst ways. Peasant plays another super chat. I thought you said you were taking a break, my man, and here you are, front and center. Love it. Appreciate the support. Toronto Raptors have the greatest player development in the league. Somebody, I can't remember who the first person was that said fantastic G League development, and now we're saying not only fantastic, but the best in the entire NBA. It's hard to argue with. I mean, you look at the top players on this team, not a lot of high draft picks there, a lot of undrafted players, and record doesn't show, but this is still a good team, right? This is still a good team, especially now that we have a center. Ben, do you have anything else? I think we should swing it to the segments and get to the final segment. Let people ask the questions.
You don't want to talk about DeAndre Bembry's 2 points? Rodney Hood 7 points, plus 16 for Rodney Hood, highest in the game. He's notably one of the worst plus minus guys in the NBA. Chris Boucher 11 points, Kem Birch 7. Kem shot a wild 3. There's some stuff left for the segments. The last player I do actually want to talk about though, Fred VanVleet, back from injury and suspension. His 3-point record was broken. Ryker, he had, I think it was 70-something games, high 60s games in terms of games hit where you hit a 3 in the game. That was broken tonight. The broadcast was pretty disappointed in that. Only 6 points for Fred. Didn't have his legs under him really. As the announcers keep saying. Do you have any takes on Freddie VanVleet?
I don't. Yeah, he broke a 76 game. Is that what you said? 76 game.
I don't know the specific number, but it was large.
76, second only to the one and only Steph Curry at 110. So large gap between him. But I honestly, that is such an irrelevant stat. Who cares? You're on a losing team. Who cares if you hit 1 3 per game? Ben, bad news, breaking news. People have been saying it.
No, wait, you said breaking news?
Yeah, breaking news. The Raptors, we might have said it already in this podcast, but I've been peeping the chat. People have been saying it. I thought it was fake news to get us stirred up. I've checked. I've confirmed. I've done my due diligence. Ben, the Raptors are sitting at 404 winning percentage versus the Chicago Bulls 400. The Raptors are officially in the play-in. Not the best news. Not the news that you want bringing us into the segments. This is a bit discouraging. Oh,
For all the new people in the chat, are you team tank or are you team playoffs? Let us know. We got the Twilight graphic up here. Let us know in the chat. But before we swing into the segments, Arco's coming in hot with these super chats. And he said, I found it very interesting when Freddie Gillespie, during an interview after the Spurs, asked off camera, was that criticizing the refs after a question? The NBA really silencing players on referees. And yeah, that was really funny because he brought up how he was mad that his block should have been an and one. But, he was a real animated guy. And I like that Arco, that everyone's picking up on it. And I think his post-game interview got a lot of views on YouTube. I want to see this man stay. I like that style of player on the Raptors.
It's still very divided. Tank, it's coming in now. Tank, playoffs, tank. Oh, man. It is so divided in Raptors Nation. And, Ben, I'll just respond to Arco's point, too.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody deserves the right to criticize the refs, it's the Toronto Raptors. Of all teams in the NBA, the one that has the biggest differential between free throws attempted versus their opponent, it's the Toronto Raptors. They deserve the credit, but it is right. Like, they don't want the players criticizing. They don't want the coaches criticizing anything. Actually a lot of playoffs. I think playoffs is gaining momentum here. But one more super chat. Paul Blunt. He's with a blunt to the point, succinct super chat. This is a disaster. I don't know if you're paying money to just say our podcast is the disaster, because if that's what you're saying. But if you just mean that us making the Toronto Raptors making the 10th seed is a disaster, I'm still on Team Tank, so I would agree with you, my man. And holy, huge one. But we got to give shout out to Peasant Plays, because he's probably done more than $27 over this podcast tonight. He's got another one, last super chat of the night. But the play-in tournament can be good for our young players. Still good lottery odds. Decent lottery odds. Not as good, right? You're really not getting that much better odds if you're dead last in the conference versus 12th. But if you're 10th, you're getting worse odds than if you were 12th. That's just a fact. And again, why? I don't know. For the fun of things, make the playoffs. But
if you win, you're out of the lottery, and then it's a weird situation, and we don't really know what's going on with that. It's a risk. The team, I don't know, as currently constructed, with all the injuries, with all the rest, I don't know if we're going to be able to beat those top teams fighting, jockeying for position. And the Raptors are out there tanking, right? If we play this graphic, Masai Ujiri's on Team Tank. I put him on Team Tank because he's resting everyone. Nick Nurse is resting everyone. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get to that level for there. I just don't want us to be the 11th seed or the 12th seed. Get us lower. Get us lower in the Cavs and the Wizards if we're going to tank, or get us proper high. But with the 20s...
I was going to say somebody doesn't like the tank, though, and he is gunning for the tank itself. It's one Derek McCurdy, man, with a huge super comment. Break it down.
Super chat. I've been trying to edit. I added a couple segments. I added the graphic, and I added the Charles Barkley to this one. But I wanted to get a super chat because we've had some really big donations on the super chat. One for the Hall of Fame of the super chats. That'll be coming soon. But we're 10th. Raptors are in. I like my chips with my dip. Derek McCurdy is Drake, and he's coming out flexing. I'm assuming that's team playoffs. Riker, do you think, I want to throw this dead serious, no memes, no jokes. I think we all agree it's possible if we get into the play-in tournament, we can beat the 7th, 8th team, the Knicks, the Hornets, whoever we play against, right? You agree with that? Even if we're the lower seed. That's possible, right? With a center.
Possible.
Yeah. Do you think against the Bucks, the Sixers, the Nets, in a potential first-round matchup, the Raptors would have any shot with this current team as constructed?
Bucks, of course. They swept the regular season series. 76ers, I thought that they were going to take that first game. I believe they did take one game after. Coughing here. Burping. But Ben, the Brooklyn Nets. I don't know if anybody in the East can take them. They're just so offensively strong. But here's the thing. Do they have the answer for Kem Birch and Freddie Gillespie, Ben?
Gillespie.
We just don't know.
Gillespie.
Gillespie. No, but this is the thing. Again, you play OKC. Probably should win that game if you want to. You can. It's on the board. And then you play Brooklyn. They're probably going to have 2 of their big 3 resting. It is what it is. They've been pumping teams. They're scoring 130 on average per night. They scored 130 against whoever they played this evening. If you can win that game, I'm a little bit more confident.
Yep.
And then Knicks are playing like their life depends on it, which it is. They're in 6th right now. They don't want to have to slip into that play-in tournament.
Especially as a young team.
Right? You take both of those games, then let's have this conversation for real.
Yep. Completely agree. Derek, we appreciate the big super chat. Bless up. But until, as Ryker mentioned, we beat the Nets, we beat those top teams, Ryker and I will be playing those kazoos all the way out into the season, you know. I don't know how loud they are, but we're rocking the kazoos. Someone's saying Kai Jones is a Raptor. I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is, Ryker?
Further Raptor. Future Raptor?
Oh, future.
I think probably future is what he's trying to say. Freddie Gillette, the best the man can get. That's funny. Let's swing it to the segments, man.
I respect it, but, you know, that's what we're going to do. And tonight, the spicy pea lay of the day. It's brought to you guys by... I'm letting the animation play out so you guys can see it pop up on the screen. Let Ryker take his dab if he's got it up on there. The animation's dying out. There it is. Right? Brought to you guys by Tiger's Milk Hot Sauce. Right? Jungle Spice Roja. Seeing if it's there. Ryker's taking a dab of it tonight. You can use promo code WE. I need to update this little graphic because use the promo code WE the North to get not 20% off, 50% off the hot sauce at shoptigersmilk.com. Are you good?
You sound like the slap chop guy. You sound like the slap chop guy, Vince.
No, it's quality stuff. I'm not trying to make it memes. I had some tacos today, ordered them out, poured the hot sauce all over it. Some of the best tacos. Took it to another level. The peppers are picked in Peru, bottled in Toronto. It's a local company, guys. It's a Canadian company. Support them. Go out there. 10 out of 10 would recommend their hot sauce. Riker's liking it right there. And but yeah, the Raptors spicy pile of the day. Do you have any in mind, Riker?
I sent you a picture. I don't think you imported it. I'll try to put it onto the screen. Kem Birch against his own team, his previous team. They released them so that he could get more minutes. So there's no bad blood there. But it's good to see this man thrive. And he caught a body. Well, actually, he didn't. He didn't dunk over anybody, but he had a nice falling dunk. He was levitating.
Yeah, we'll graph.
You put it up.
Yeah, this is the high quality edits you guys come here for.
Yeah, professionalism at its finest.
But yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was a nice dunk. Again, you gotta give some love to the the third quarter stretch from Paul Watson. Yuta had a couple dunks tonight as well. There was just a lot of fun stuff in this game. Malachi had a couple passes. I'm liking. You're laughing at stuff, but you know, spicy pile of the day brought to you by check out the hot sauce, guys. 10 out of 10.
Just get it.
Just get it. Just order it.
Buy it.
Quality.
Just take the money you're putting into our super chats and just buy yourself or one of the shirts. Honestly, I'm gonna buy another shirt. That's just me. Nisha Seth, he's back at it again with another super chat. Last one for me, guys, as well. You're a goat. You're in there. And apparently we've never pronounced your name right, so apologies for that. Last one for me as well. These guys deserve all the love. Please support everyone. Wow.
We appreciate it.
You deserve all the love right back.
Yeah.
And so you, sir, aren't getting the OGs, or you're not getting the gold star. You're getting the anti-gold star for positivity.
Anti-gold star. Derek, Nisha, you guys, once this animation's made, you're going up in the Hall of Fame for Super Chats. We'll hopefully get that developed now the weekend. School's assignment season's done, just finals, so it's chill. Life is good. But Ryker, we got... I don't know what you're laughing at now.
Somebody in Manual Park just said, Ben, you kind of look like Kristen Dunst. Spider-Man's girlfriend from the Tobey Maguire Spider.
No, is that Kristen Dunst?
Kristen Dunst.
Is that Mary Jane from the OG Spider?
Yeah.
Okay.
From the OG.
I'll take it. She's cute.
One more super chat, then the OGs. Finally, we have a center. Finally. That's how I perceive that he wrote that. That's how I perceive he was saying. Sean Webb.
Okay. Yeah.
Sean Webb.
Sean
it's
Webb.
All caps.
Save me, Sean Webb. I'm Mary Jane Watson.
Sean Webb, all caps. Finally, we have a center. Gillespie. Girthy Gillespie. Kem Birch. Big man Birch. Birch Tree. It's fantastic. They might start winning games. Ben, not all plays can be.
We also have Aaron Baines. Don't forget him, guys. Don't forget him. Just because Aaron Baines fan club has turned on the Raptors doesn't mean we all have to hate on him. But as you brought it up, I already played the animation, but then we got some wild takes. Not all plays can be the spicy feeling of the day, and some just make you say, "Oh, geez." And Ryker, there was a couple OGs plays in this game. I don't know if you want to start off with one or.
Yep. We see you, Arco. Better put me in that Hall of Fame, he says. Another super chat. And you know what? You're there. You're consistent.
You're there. For sure. No, just because we throw a couple in. You're in those super chats. We can look back at them. You're getting in that list. We appreciate everyone with the super chats, but.
Oh, geez. You said you have a couple. I personally don't. I'd have to think about it, so I'll let you take it away.
Yuta, a phenomenal game tonight. 21 points. He had a couple passes at the end of this game, or that just went straight out of bounds. I don't even know if he got credit with the turnovers. Yeah, a couple turnovers, but one of them he kind of hooked it over to Bembry was supposed to be to Bembry, wasn't close. A couple just went straight out of bounds. So a couple turnovers like that, and Paul Watson at the end of this game, right? And I'm leading into my gold star, so I don't want to trash on Watson because the gold star feeds into it, but he had a couple plays down the stretch, forcing a little bit too much, trying to break that 30 points. You got some sound cooking in your background?
It sounded like somebody screaming for dear life. I think my mother is watching something dramatic. Shout out to my mother again. She's featuring on every podcast, man. Continue going, though. I didn't mean to cut you off with my panic.
No, we're good. We're making sure everything's all right. Making sure the puppers, everyone's good. But, Ryker, fine. Do you have any OGs you want to sound off before you get to the gold star?
Nah, bring it to gold star.
Tonight, the infamous, the one, the only, Damari Carroll Gold Star Award. And you can honestly break out the hat if you want, Ryker, because Walmart Nick Nurse is back. And it's not because the Raptors, they struggled in this game by any means, right? But Walmart Nick Nurse is out here because Paul Watson Jr., having the game of his life. He was only at 23 minutes played, so he wasn't tired even though he started, right? He was fine. He's running. I guess he is coming back from health and safety protocol, some injuries and stuff, so maybe there's a minutes restriction. I don't know. And I'll revert this gold star if that's the case. But he subbed him out with 2 minutes to go in the third. With 27 points. He was hitting threes. This guy was on fire. El Fuego looking like Curry. And he was subbed out till 2 minutes left in the game. Nick Nurse wanted to have Paul Watson go out and break the 30-point mark with just enough time to final alarm. Unfortunately, the NBA game last 2 minutes doesn't work like our last 2 minutes of the podcast. So I don't know. It
does when you consider actual run time.
That's true. But on court time, Nick Nurse, what are you doing, man? Play Paul Watson the whole fourth quarter. Let him get 12 threes. Let him break Curry's record. Let him go down in the history books. But that's my gold star. I don't know if you had one in mind, Ryker.
No, I don't. I'm laughing because Sean Webb is in the super like section saying, I'll donate $100 if Ben shaves. But then who would look like Kristen Dunst? Who would bring the cuteness to the podcast? Ben,
yeah, I shaved the scruff. Yeah, it's not there. But I shave here if you would donate $100.
Look at this. I was like, what would I look like shaved?
Oh no! OG Ryker.
That's what it would look like if people want that. I don't know if that's the best look, but I pulled it back just to get an idea.
That's when Ryker takes off the perm. That's what I was actually taking yesterday.
Take the perm off. Take off the toupee perm. And we got one more. Andrea Valenzuela. No, that's Mexican. Sorry. Valenzuela. Where is that? I don't know. It's definitely not This was a cross between Mexican and Italian. Andrea Valenzuela. DeMar plus Lowry are free agents. Can we get both? I wouldn't hate DeMar. I went on a monologue about how the biggest DeMar hater, because of I think that mid-range it's the least efficient shot really in the NBA right now, and isolation play is really it's not great in terms of, but he looks good on the Spurs. So to bring that man back would improve this team. Facts.
He would be nice. I guess with the emergence of Gary Trent Jr., it would be a little bit weird. We'd have to give up, I think, trade Fred for a center if that's the case. But, Andrea, I like that. I'd like to see the boys back together for nostalgia, for a winning purpose, because they are still great players. Just bring back that culture. The Raptors have lost a lot of guys. You want more Raptors players in the system. That's why I want to keep Gillespie. Man seems like a Raptors player. But shout out everyone, and I just want to say quickly.
This is say it quickly.
Because Ryker and I look exactly the same when we have the same length hair. People don't know, because I've had the flow ever since we've been on the video. But Ryker and I look exactly the same, so I can't cut this now. We can't both go bald.
I have it stapled on there, but if I brought that picture closer, it's Ben and I together in a bar, in a social place from before current times.
Yep.
But I also want to say, I don't want to pronounce it again. I might have caught thunder in a bottle, and now I'm risking it here. Andrea Valenzuela said, "Great pronunciation." First on the podcast. Ever on the podcast, baby. Let's go.
I gave you the butchered name segment anyways, but I'll retract it. I'm done.
Oh, dude, my picture isn't even on the... Okay, wait. Hold up. Oh, it's all stapled in. Dang it. I was pointing at this picture. It doesn't even show. It's not.
No, it's there. It's there. It's there now. I got you.
I can point at it now?
Yep.
There's a great picture. Where is it? Ben and I together.
This is going to be great for the podcast audio. Alarm. The people, everything go, oh my god, I just switched back after 8 minutes, and you're getting all the segments now, guys. I think we just played every segment we just had in there. But we'll play the last one, because this is where the show really starts to take off. Woo, 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 woo. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep.
Woo, woo.
We're both reading the same chat, I think. But the final alarm has gone off, and we want to hear your guys' takes. We want to hear everything. What you guys think of the season, what you guys think about the pod, the Raptors, anything. What side you're on, Riker, if you want to lean. Looks like your team playoffs, I'm team tank the other way. Yeah. Oh, no, you had it. You had the first time. While the things come in. Yeah, no, that way.
I can't see it yet. Whatever.
What team you're in? I'm Team Tank. Riker's team playoffs, surely. But dropping in the like section for Riker's selfie mugshot. that is tough. But people,
let's get some actual questions going here. Or it's going to be a quick 2 minutes because we all know what Riker's bedtime is like, even on the weekends. That's right, folks.
Especially. Yeah, every night. Should we let Stanley Lowry Bembry walk from Mr. Bro? Chat legend.
Walk? No.
Like
you're not letting Lowry walk for nothing.
Mm-hmm. Bembry and Stanley?
Yeah. Nah, Bembry's alright. You'd let Stanley walk for sure.
Yeah, that's I tend to agree. I'd like to, if Lowry's leaving, I'd like to sign and trade him. But people playoffs this year for sure. We got people talking about what side of the team they're on. Bueno Kitty, Team Kazoo. Who's
Ryan
Kai
Lavinia?
Jones?
Who's Jones?
Did we sign a guy, Kai Jones? Because he's been brought up a bunch, and
You market research it. Ryan Lavinia. Vinya. Don't care about tank versus playoff. Just want to enjoy watching basketball. I agree. And winning is more fun than losing. Yep. We're keeping a positive energy into all these, but the viewership suffers, enjoyment suffers, motivation to watch these games, especially quarter 1 through 4.8, like it basically, winning is better. Winning feels better, so I agree. Mm-hmm. Projections for next year.
I'm confident next year. I think we're back 3rd seed. I had a debate with one of my friends about this, who's a Bucks fan, and another who's a Celtics fan. Raptors still have the talent. They just need to do a little bit of retooling, make sure we have a center, get a decent draft pick, round out the bench a little bit, or at least develop them at the end of this year. We'll be fine. I'm saying top 3 seed next year.
Top 3 seed. Well, you said seed 2 this year. You were a little bit wrong with that, so don't put too much stock into Ben's seeding predictions, but I would agree. I think they'll be higher again. You just got to win. Look at this 6th seed as the Knicks. Knicks aren't better than the Raptors. Come on, cut me a break.
The Hornets?
The Atlanta Hawks are in there at 4th. You'd have to think that the Raptors could at least be 4th.
Yeah. All I have to say
Papino.
to these teams is OGs. OGs to all these teams. We'll talk about that, but you have a comment to break down? Or you just wanted to say the name?
I did just want to say the name. I feel like I'm on a roll here with pronunciations here tonight. Olivier Papineau. I think tanking would hurt younger players' developments. Au contraire, it would actually improve them because you're playing the deeper bench more, i.e. the younger players more. You've already locked in the contracts of your core unit, and you have the ability to bring in a guy who can immediately become an impact player from the team. So
yeah,
that's the logic behind that.
It's a point too. Josh brought up a really solid video. He is firmly on team playoffs. Josh, our other, I guess, not just our writer now, making videos and all that sort of stuff. He dropped a video on why he doesn't want the Raptors to tank at all, and a lot of people said in that comment section, I liked the takes people were saying. It's something I haven't heard before, but a lot of people are frustrated about the losing culture and this and that, but it's only tanking for one season, right? You're resting guys as you did against the Magic tonight, right? That's the route you're going. You're not tanking for next year and the year after, or going on a process that we saw the Philadelphia 76ers do, because that would be the worst thing the Raptors could approach with, but just rounding out this season in such a unique year in Tampa. No home games, injuries, health and safety protocols. Snipe yourself, Cade, in such a tragic year in your franchise.
Yes, sir. Steph Curry 30 McFlurry. I'm back. ... Ominous. Where did you go? This is the question, Ben. If the Raptors continue to win, they make the play-in, they're going to want to put their best lineup forward. We had this issue. We broke it down. Lowry would perceivably be in the rotation, and so would Fred VanVleet. Now, all of a sudden, you start Kem Birch. You've played out Gary Trent Jr., and that's not the winning lineup. So that's another reason that it probably doesn't make sense to make the playoff push this year, because to have the optimal starting 5, Lowry's on the bench. It has to be Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., OG, Pascal, Kem Birch. I think everyone would agree with that. You and I both agree that that's the best starting 5 you can put out there. Now, Lowry would be in as a closer, for sure, but he wouldn't start, but there's no way that they're not going to start him.
Yeah, and we have another super chat from Paul Blunt. Another one. Shout out, Paul. Team Tank, now go to bed. He's blunt. He's blunt with the takes. He says what he means. A few words. Team Tank, and you know, we'll play a few kazoos in honor of Paul. Right, Riker? I still need to get that. I got a lot of segments built out. Oh no, people aren't ready. No, people aren't ready.
I'm not flashing the logo. They don't know what this is.
Oh, they know what it is.
This is just any old hat to their knowledge.
With blue and orange colorways for Riker's true team this season. The real reason he doesn't want to watch those Raps games, it's not because they're bad. It's because he's got a real team this year. Napping on the pod. Only jokes in here. But we also have 356 people in this chat. So yeah, we're plugging it. We're plugging it here. Oh my god, do I not know the button anymore? We're on the road to 20k subscribers. Riker and I will play an intense game of one-on-one once we hit 20k. So if you're new to the channel, definitely we'd appreciate you guys subscribing, you guys, you girls, whoever's rocking. Riker's got the rocket. Oh, we got a sticker? We got a sticker, folks? I don't know what this is, but shout out Dapinde Dylan. I'm gonna give myself that there. But Depinder.
I bet I'm on a roll with pronunciations. Depinder Dylan. Calling it.
Shout out.
Let me know, Depinder. Let me know if that's the proper pronunciation.
That's wild. Someone said if you vote Tank, you also probably voted for Doug Ford. Interesting. Both Riker and I are in Newfoundland, so we're just living, you know. No COVID currently. Why do you think a rookie will make us contenders from Reptar? I don't think you guys know. Cade, Mobley, we've been developing late round draft picks, turning them into stars this whole time with Masai Ujiri. If we get a top 3 pick, get that opportunity to develop them, that's going to make us a contender at some point. But we have another super chat. Okay, the animations are not going to work for the rest of the way, so we're going to stick it on this one here. But when our stars are not on the court, we win. Nick is in trouble still. Remember, he thought Baines was good, and I don't know. I think that's a hot take. We won with stars on the court. We won a championship. We made it to the playoffs last year. And we were doing well before people were out with health and safety protocols. Injuries. Do you agree with that take, Riker?
What was the take?
Nick Nurse. We're better without stars. Our main guys, essentially.
No.
Lost in a trance at the chat.
We're not better without our stars. Wow. There's just so many comments coming in right now. This is what I think. Okay, Pascal Siakam, he struggled when the defense is clustering him. It's been proven that he takes a lot of pressure off the main offensive player, right? So a guy like Kawhi Leonard can come in, and if you have to... If the big man can't afford to switch on to Kawhi, because then you can toss the ball down to Pascal Siakam and take advantage of a mismatch in the post, that gives a tremendous benefit to your best player. Now, Pascal Siakam, when he's the number 1 option, doesn't work as well. That's the criticism for the year. Another one, Ben, I thought that I had a hot pronunciation streak going. This one, it's not even my language, so
give it a try, Riker. Give it a try.
I can't, because I don't know what any of those symbols mean. If maybe you want to give the phonetic pronunciation of it, and I'll give the phonetic pronunciation a try, I would love to do that. Send
PK.
some sort of sticker. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. We spoiling this season, guys? Is the spoiler we're getting?
Do you have some information that we don't have?
I don't know. Maybe he's about to spoil. He, she, PK. Don't know. I went on Busu, tried to learn a little bit of Mandarin. I said I'd stick with French. I'm gonna build up to languages that aren't Latin.
Yeah, but listen, there's lots of languages that use symbols, so it might not be Mandarin. It could be anything.
Sean Webb, I have the animations back. I'm right, you know. I'm right, you know. I'm right, you know. Emphatically, in all caps, and honestly, with the last name Webb, with the super chats you've given, I'll give you some credit. Get that web slinger. Rick, are you a Spider-Man guy?
No.
No?
No. I'm an anti-superhero guy. Michael, it's pronounced Michael. Try speaking Spanish, please, says Marlene. And
Riker learned Spanish. This guy lived in Chile for a while.
Anguiano. Yeah, I lived in Chile, and I had a girlfriend there, and she came up from Chile. And at the beginning of our relationship, I knew barely any Spanish. She knew barely any English. And so there was Cantonese. Cantonese, says PK. Yeah, whatever. It's pronounced. Again, give us the phonetic. And Depinder, it was the Pinder. The Pinder, I think, is what he said. So we were pretty close. Pretty close.
Give us both one of
They want a little bit of Spanish on the podcast, and I'm not going to subject myself to that amount of embarrassment, but if you give me a Master PK, if you give me a sentence, I will give it my wholehearted effort. Ben, we're coming far away from basketball. We're also wrapping up to the end of this. Do you have anything else that you want to maybe say to sound off the evening?
Tu peux parler un petit peu de l'espagnol, Monsieur Richard? Ouais.
Ben is willing to subject himself to additional embarrassment.
Hey, I thought that was pretty good. My French. I've been off my grind a little bit because school's taking the focus. But when you're in a rhythm, you're on Busu, you're rocking out, then I'll be able... I said it a month ago. People were DMing me. They're holding me to it. I'm going to try and make a fully French podcast next year. We'll see how that goes, but I don't know, Riker. It's a wild vibe. And also, I also want to say this, because I just pronounced your last name. I don't know if I've ever said your last name on the pod. It's in there. It's even your old Instagram. Wait, we got to stop the spammers first.
Moderate that, Ben.
I'm the producer, moderator, all that
PK
stuff.
Dossie.
But
Dossie.
we apologize for the spam. Again, we've been slacking on getting the spammers out. But Riker's last name is Richard, not Richard, not Rich, even though his Instagram handle is Rich. But just wanted to throw that out there now. I'm gonna throw that at the beginning of the pods. People are speaking Spanish to you in the chat.
Are they?
Yeah, ban the spammers. French podcast. Papineau? Papineau is here.
Saying anything? What are you saying? I'm never saying anything.
I see a Pelo de Riker. I don't know what that is. That could be
Pelo? Riker's Pelo? I think that's hair. But I could be wrong, as I have been in the past many times. But I believe it's hair, Ben. Like Spike. What the heck? How would you even say that?
Someone tell us how to say like Spike in French. The accent on
Pico.
The accent on Ben's French sounds ugly, guys. You know, I lived in Quebec for a while. Apparently, that's where the accent's tough. I'm a Newfoundlander speaking French. I don't know if that accent would be fire.
Ronnie Penn, damn, this stream's still going on when you tune in an hour later and we're not even talking about basketball for the past 20 minutes. Let's wrap it up. I think we're at the end of it here, Ben.
Right here. Guys, did we miss it? Yeah, did we miss a super chat? Yeah, I didn't play the animation, so I felt like I missed it. I'll play the animation for you now. But it's not even playing. That's life. That's how it works. But we've been going long. We have a lot of stuff happening in this game, in this podcast. We're trying to keep it fun, keep it upbeat. But the Raptors, whether we're tanking, whether we're not, we'll be here to cover all the games, everything on the go. Riker, we also got to plug it with 300 people currently in this chat. I've been rocking the OG's shirt in here, and you can get these designs at Design My Apparel. Get custom graphics, custom hoodies, shirts, whatever, if you want to design those up. Get the OGs here. I'm going to start working on the website. Riker's going to build out a little Shopify thing for the next few, I think we could say this week upcoming. Is that a stretch?
It's not a stretch. It's coming. It's coming.
Right? So if you want some little OGs merch, hoodies, right? We were also talking, when people want a tanking shirt, a Raptors 2021, a little fade for Kate of tank season, let us know your interest in there, but the shirts, the graphics are all coming. You go to Design My Apparel and get 20% off with RAPS20 promo code to get your custom clothes. So definitely check that out. Riker, you're laughing at something.
Yeah, just everybody's being all nice and stuff. It's making me blush, this podcast, but people are saying, Je m'appelle Jimmy Pops. Somebody's saying adios. To that I say ciao, hasta luego, hasta mañana. And other people saying good night, everyone. Everybody's saying gracias de Cabo San Lucas from Jason Stirrup. Whoa, good night, good night. Lots of everything. Ben, this has been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure as always.
Yeah. Chat's always great. The lives, people are loving it, but people are interested in the OGs. Let us know. DM us on Instagram what you're feeling. We'll probably put out some polls of designs people like, but check out the Twitter, the Instagram, all that cool stuff. TikTok, raptorsdigest.ca. Try and build all that stuff out. But, Riker, do you have any last words, sir?
Cheers.